Welcome, wizards and witches. Today on the channel, we continue ranking 100 Harry Potter characters in part 2 of this mini-series, and today it's a good one, you won't want to miss it. Let's get it done. Starting today's ranking off with a bang, we have the one and only Harry Potter. The boy who lived, a very important character, if not the most important character in the entire franchise. Surprisingly, Harry shares the same birthday as J.K. Rowling, both sharing the 31st of July as their birthday. It doesn't end there, this special date is also shared by the actor Richard Griffiths, who portrays Harry's uncle, Vernon Dursley. Now, time to place him onto our tier board. I think you guys will already know where Potter has to go. So it will be no surprise to hear he is going straight into F tier. Just joking, he's going in S tier. He will go down in history as one of Hogwarts' most legendary wizards. Next up we have Fang. Fang is said to be a boarhound, or Great Dane in the books. In the films he is portrayed by a Neapolitan Mastiff. Fang is one of Hagrid's pets and is a large dog, who lived alongside Hagrid in his hut. This big dog accompanied Hagrid in many places such as the Forbidden Forest. We see him with Harry and Draco in the Forbidden Forest. He is also seen when Harry and Ron go and visit Aragog, in the Forbidden Forest too. Although described by Hagrid as a bloody coward, he was protective and is a very friendly and loyal hound. Who doesn't love a dog character? I think this loyal pooch belongs in tier A. Professor Horace, Eugene Flaccus, Slughorn, attended Hogwarts as a youth and was a member of Slytherin. After leaving Hogwarts he soon returned as a potion master in 1931. He also served as head of Slytherin House before retiring in 1981. He was convinced by Dumbledore to return in 1996. Horace is played by British actor Jim Broadbent, who is known for roles in The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, The Witch and the Wardrobe, the Paddington film series, and even Hot Fuzz and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I'm not too sure where to put this character, so I think we will put him in C tier. If you think he should go in another tier, let me know in the comments and the reason why you think he belongs in another tier. Next is Amos Diggory, father of Cedric Diggory, who I placed in B tier in part 1. Don't forget to check that video out if you haven't already. Now Amos Diggory worked for the Department for the Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures in the British Ministry of Magic. After the loss of his son Cedric, he sought a meeting with Harry Potter in 2020 in hopes of saving his deceased son via a new time turner that was discovered. We are going to place him in tier C. This time we are going to rank 2 at the same time the Weasley twins Fred and George. These two twins are both 2 of 14 characters to appear in 8 films, both are purebloods and the 4th and 5th son of the Weasley family. After Hogwarts, both twins went on to become entrepreneur, opening the joke shop Weasley's Wizard Wheezes at 93 Diagon Alley. George went on to marry Angelina Johnson and soon had a son who he named Fred in honor of his twin. He also had a daughter named Roxanne. I think these 2 pranksters fit nicely into a middle high tier. I think B tier is perfect. The Sorting Hat was a magical hat at Hogwarts, used to determine which of the 4 houses each student fits into. The Sorting Hat's original owner was Godric Gryffindor, one of the 4 founders of Hogwarts. The hat is normally kept in the headmaster's office until it was needed for the sorting ceremony. A cool fact about the Sorting Hat is that it wasn't J.K. Rowling's first idea of how new students would be sorted. In fact, she debated several ideas. One was a magical machine that does all types of magical things before reaching a decision, but she didn't like it and said it was too complicated. Another one of the talented writer's ideas was to have 4 statues of each of the 4 founders at the front of the hall. These statues would then come alive and select students while the school watched. She thought this idea was better, but it still wasn't right. Finally, she wrote a list of ways people can be chosen, for example short straws or names out of a hat. The names out of a hat gave her the idea of the Sorting Hat, and that was the perfect cough fit for the story. The Sorting Hat is a huge part for every wizard and witch's time at Hogwarts, choosing the house they will remain in for their time at Hogwarts, so I think such a massive impact deserves a high tier, and I think this one goes into tier A. Following on from the Sorting Hat, we are now going to place the 4 founders of Hogwarts. Godric Gryffindor for Gryffindor, Salazar Slytherin for Slytherin, Helga Hufflepuff for Hufflepuff, and Rowena Ravenclaw for Ravenclaw. These brilliant wizards and witches are also known as the Hogwarts 4. They were the ones who established the school during the medieval era, and are described by many as being the most brilliant witches and wizards of all time. So, let's put these characters onto our list. First, we are going to start with Godric Gryffindor of House Gryffindor. Believing strongly that any child who displayed magical abilities should attend Hogwarts, he also values courage and bravery. I think a tier is the most suitable tier for this character. Next, we have Salazar Slytherin of House Slytherin. Believing that only witches and wizards of pure blood should be allowed to attend Hogwarts. This caused tension between the founders, which eventually led to his departure from the school. I think Salazar belongs in B tier, although he shows a strong dislike towards anything but pure-blood Slytherin in a strong house, and a very important one at that. Now, we have Helga Hufflepuff of House Hufflepuff. She believed in loyalty and patience, and she also took in students that didn't fit in with any of the other founders' values. It is also known that she brought the house elves to Hogwarts. I think the kind nature of Helga taking in students that don't fit in with the other founders' values has bagged herself in tier a spot. Next, we have Rowena Ravenclaw of House Ravenclaw. This character valued the most intelligent witches and wizards, possibly wanting to make Hogwarts the very finest school on earth. She also had a daughter whose name was Helena. She became the Grey Lady of Hogwarts as a ghost. Rowena will be placed into tier B. Dean Thomas was a wizard in Harry's year and played a chaser for his house's Quidditch team. Sadly, he could not prove he had any wizarding heritage, and was in great danger when Lord Voldemort took control of the Ministry of Magic in 1997. So he went on the run, missing his 7th year of schooling. I think we should put him in C tier. Luna Lovegood is an only child of Xenophilius and Pandora Lovegood. Sadly, her mother died while experimenting with spells when Luna was 9. Interestingly, Luna is the only one of Harry's close school friends who isn't a fellow Gryffindor, instead being from Ravenclaw. Harry goes on to name his daughter after her, Lily Luna. Luna is also the only person still living to give their name to one of Harry's children. She can safely be put into S tier. Rita Skeeter is a witch and journalist. Her stories or reports tend to be false and misreported interviews. Dumbledore describes her stories as enchantingly nasty after she wrote a story about him. Skeeter was training to become an animagus. Being able to fully transform into a beetleable had its uses. She would use the ability to spy and eavesdrop to get information for her reports and stories. I think we can all agree this character belongs in F tier. The cheek to use magic to create fake news and reports, especially about the great Albus Dumbledore, and she goes. Next we have Gregory Goyle, a very interesting character. He, Draco, and Crabbe met Harry Potter and offered him acceptance into their clan. This was rejected and left Draco Malfoy confused as to why he would choose to be friends with Ronald Weasley instead. Sadly, in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2, Goyle takes the place of Crabbe, who was written out due to drug charges against Jamie Waylett, the actor who portrays Crabbe. I think we can put him in tier E. Thank you for watching today's video. If you haven't already, don't forget to watch part 1, and if you have already enjoyed part 1, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss part 3.